I'm confident in my opinion, and I'm just going to tell you what it is. People love that. Like, and then they trust it, and then they trust the person. And if someone was going to describe me, it's like, well, what's his defining trait? They'd be like, I like him because you always know he is saying exactly what he thinks.
This lady's podcast the other day, and she started asking me questions before she hit record, and I'm like spitting out like, knowledge and shit. And then she's like, hold on. I'm going to hit record, and then I'm going to ask you the same question, and then say it again like that. And I just could not get my words.
I was going to say, that's a real star right there that could just be, it's like, just do it like you just did naturally. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
I'll do it just like that.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Jesse on fire. Jesse, how you doing, sir? Thank you so much for coming back on.
I'll do this show whenever you want, good sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're one of our most not requested but viewed guests. When I have a guest on, like, you get the most one of the highest responses. So it's always good for the algorithm and shit.
That's awesome.
The
YouTube is really good at figuring out, like, I don't know, it has to be some kind of voice recognition Google stuff, but like they know who the guest is, because I could title something Joe Rogan joins the show and puts his face through a wall, and if Rogan's not on the show, YouTube knows, but like when I remember when I did an interview with Sammy the Bull when my other channel was really young, Jesse on Everything. Those videos got like 40,000 views when I'd never had anything over like 2,000. And I was like, what? Like, I mean, and I talked about all kinds of topics like that. It's just YouTube knew that it was really him,
Wow. Yeah, they're on it. It's I'm trying to transcribe some of our old podcasts so that we can remake some videos like they do with Joe Rogan when it's like out of context. They totally redo the conversation. Yeah. And those are so funny, and trying to kind of recreate some of that with my podcasts.
Yeah, those are hilarious. I was just watching one of those like 5 seconds ago, actually.
Yeah, those, I mean, as I was thinking about it, I'm like, that's kind of cringy that we're going to try to copy what they did, but I still want to do it because it'll be fun. We're just trying to have fun.
Everybody's doing it. It's like, okay. That's like the new thing. Like they did that one where they made it look like Trump is interviewing Biden. Have you seen that?
See that? No.
It's hilarious, dude. I actually saw it on JP's channel. Like JP did it. Like JP did a JP reacts to that interview. It's so funny, man. It's such a funny video.
Oh, well, I saw JP interviewing Biden, supposedly.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, he's killing it. I'm on Sober October, and let's see, I'm like, and it's fucking going great. I had the wildest dreams last night, and like I woke up in like a sweat because I guess my body's like detoxing. Mm-hmm. And because I smoke too much weed. I was
gonna ask, it's gonna be like, what's your normal vice?
Yeah, it's mainly weed, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And I've been like years of where I'm like, why am I even fucking doing this? And I'll tell people like in a weird way, like reaching out for help and they're like, dude, it's just weed, relax. Who cares? It's fine. But I know that it's not helping me be my best self or whatever, because you just know if you're being honest with yourself, like, okay, and it fucks up my sleep. Most people can smoke weed and they sleep better. When I smoke weed, it's like I'm restless all night, and I've been doing it for the last 10 years, and ever since I got out of the Army, as a self-medication, and it's great, but it's one of those cyclical things where I smoke and then I don't sleep well, and then I don't feel good, so I smoke again, and then it's like this repeating thing. Yeah. Do you have any vices? Or are you like
plenty?
Straight edge?
Okay. Oh no. But not weed. Like weed's not my bag. Like weed makes me it just takes this thing that I can do that already is overwhelming sometimes, which is like having to do with people where, I don't know, I am like if someone put a spreadsheet in front of me and they were like, okay, so what we need you to do is fill in any amount of just basic instructions. You could have that thing sitting in front of me for 2 weeks and I will not be able to do it. Like I'm just a straight up functional retard. But when it comes to look like with people, like I can look at a photograph of a person and tell you all kinds of shit about them that like it's impossible for anyone to know. I don't know how I do it. And like, if I'm sitting here talking to a person or watching a person, it's like, I could see everything about him, everything. And when I smoke weed, it amplifies that on a level that is unbearable. Like it's fucking unbearable. It's like, the stuff that like the stuff that lives under all of it, all the ugliest stuff about people is just looking me right in the face and it makes me hate everyone. And then I'll just go, oh, what's going on with you? And then I'll just do it to myself. And it's just as ugly. And it's like, it's awful. I fucking hate smoking weed, man.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll get too high and I'll be talking to my wife and she'll say something and I'll interpret it in some kind of way where it's like, she's bad, like it's negative. And I don't like that aspect because it's like, it's almost like a paranoia, I guess. And it's like, Did you mean it like this? Are you trying to say that I'm stupid? Cause I like cry. I cry about like the stupidest shit. I was emailing the guy that taught me how to meditate. It was December of last year. I went to this meditation guru and he taught me how to like meditate. And it's been like a year. And this morning I finally was like, fucking email him and text him and say thank you. And as I'm saying thank you, I'm like fucking tears are coming down, or some commercial will be like super sweet where a young boy is helping his mom because the dad died. And I'm like, it's so sweet. And, but then it's like men don't cry. But I'm reading this book about Steve Jobs. It's fucking great. And he would cry all the time in meetings. I don't cry in meetings. I cry about like silly shit, but I don't like.
He's got that thing that I have. Like, he's like, he gets overwhelmed with passion. Like if like they're building something, I have that. When I was doing my company and I was fighting and fighting trying to get this TV show made. And when they brought the team out from Esquire Network, Greg Goldman, producer of all these huge fucking shows, and it was going to be the sizzle. I didn't really understand the process as well as I do now. Like I thought shooting a sizzle meant that the show was a go, but it was really like, it was the test shoot. And then it went to pilot. But so like we were doing the sizzle. In my mind, I had won. Like I was like, and I already knew. It's like I can already see all the steps because. And in my mind, this is going on television now. Because if this show would have gotten on television, we would be DraftKings right now. Like it would have been $300 million in free advertising. In much stickier than the bullshit they were putting on television. It's like a real story about real people with a better product than them. And so when they went to go do my interview, I just collapsed because I was like, they're like interviewing me in the moment where I had won, and it was like, so like, I understand that that's like the kind of thing that gets to me. Like sometimes when I'm thinking about like a fighter who like fought through just insane shit, like that's what it gets me, and like, and then they won, Yeah. Like I don't cry about a guy losing. Like if a guy like, oh man, he really, really needed that one and he lost, like that does nothing for him. I mean, I feel real bad for him, but what gets it for me is like a dude who like had everything on the line and then he went all in and he won.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful, and it's like inspiring, and there's a connection. We all kind of want that. We're all trying to achieve the dream of, just success and respect from our peers. And you have all these connections with like MMA fighters and apparently TV executives and stuff. You're like in the mix. How did you get all up in there?
I don't know. And I'm just good at networking, like cause like, I don't know. I think it's like the same reason I'm good at networking for the same reason that people respond to my content, which is just that going back to the thing where like if I smoke weed and I look at people, it's like I think a lot of people are much more aware of what they're looking at than they realize when they're like looking at people and how they go. And it's like people can see, you know, if a person is just like, this is absolutely exactly how I feel about this. Like there's no filter. I'm not concerned about what you think about it. I'm not concerned about what anybody's going to think about it. I'm confident in my opinion, and I'm just going to tell you what it is. People love that. Like, and then they trust it, and then they trust the person. And if someone was going to describe me, it's like, well, you know, what's his defining trait? They'd be like, I like him because you always know he is saying exactly what he thinks. Mm-hmm. And so I think that has a lot to do with it. And then like, you know, there's also some strategy that I implement in terms of like networking. You know, there's you know, stuff I wouldn't say on a podcast, but there's you know, if you know what you're trying to accomplish, you can be strategic about networking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honesty, and like, you know, because people see through bullshit, or at least they'll be suspicious, and they're like, "Is he lying? Is he telling the truth?" You want people to just know, because you've always, you know, you're not like all shifty, you're not like scratching your neck or turning away. I was watching this interview from this chess match. It was like after this guy beat Magnus Carlsen, and everyone thinks he cheated, and Elon Musk was saying he put
a guy or girl? Are you talking about poker?
No, a guy. It was a guy. It was a chess match, and this guy,
chess. Okay,
chess.
Sorry.
Magnus Carlsen was like the number one chess guy, and he just got beat by this new up and comer who has been caught cheating before, apparently.
How do you cheat in chess?
So exactly. So they were using anal beads that vibrated with Morse code, so that after each move, you know, it's live on TV or wherever it's being broadcast. So, you know, Magnus would make a move, and then the dude's sitting there waiting, and supposedly through Morse code, they would tell him what piece to move where through a vibrating anal beads.
So it's like there's a team of people who are like collaborating, and then so this guy's actually playing against multiple people, not against one.
He's playing against the best guy, and then he has a team kind of probably using more like a computer to make the next best move.
Oh, because the computers are better than people now.
For the most part, yeah. For the most part, they are, and it's debatable whether or not nobody knows if he had anal beads. That was the speculation that Elon tweeted, and it's like going like viral. I play chess a lot, and which is why I was like paying attention to it. And in the interview afterwards, people were also like, something's off. He is very sketchy, which just, you know, you don't want people to be questioning you if you just won the world title in chess and then people think you cheated. Like,
no way to cheat in MMA.
Yeah. Well, is there?
I mean, certainly not for the championship.
I was also watching. This is pretty crazy. I don't know if you've ever fished. I'm not a big fisherman.
I'm not a big fisher, but I have fished.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so they have the fishing competitions, and I was on Twitter the other day, and all these people were like, "You fucking cheated! You should."
Oh, I saw that, dude.
Yeah, where he's putting weights in the fish.
Dude, that guy had won $3 million over the previous however long. That dude, like that guy. And it's so crazy. Yeah, when you listen to that, they're like, we all knew it. We all knew you were doing it. Wow. It's like, yeah, for years, this guy just stuffing weights. I'm surprised that, I mean, that guy's life is over, obviously, but man, I'm surprised he got out of there. You know, a bunch of tournament bass fishermen. There's no cameras in that place. They probably shoved those weights down his throat.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it's almost clever. It's almost like, you know, what he did. It's like, it's so simple that it was brilliant, yet he got caught, and
he pushed it too hard.
Yeah.
Pushed it too far. Where they were like, this fish doesn't weigh that.
Yeah. And now
that's how they caught him.
Wow. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to change how they do that probably for the rest of, tournaments.
Yeah, they're gonna fillet the fish and weigh that probably, like or something.
Right, or some kind of X-rays. But
Yeah.
cheating it's not admirable. And when you get caught, it's like, I've never really been that type of guy, so I wouldn't know. But you see it happening, and you're just like, you fucking idiot.
I would never do that, and especially in that type of environment, because I'll come back to this in 1 second, but there's this huge poker cheating scandal that's going on right now. Did you see anything about that?
No.
This happened this is so fucking crazy, dude. So on Thursday night, I'm in Dallas and I'm just dicking around on Instagram, and this girl who I know who's friends with my wife, this smoke show from LA that's from the same college as my wife, they're good friends. Her name's Rabia, and she's like, oh, I'm playing in the high stakes poker, the high stakes game at Commerce on whatever. She's gonna be in this televised high roller $200,000 buy-in game. I'm like, what the fuck? And so I hit her up on Instagram. I was like, Robbie, you play poker? I was like, I'm sure you've seen my wife. She looks like, there's all of a sudden, if my wife is like a $200,000 buy-in poker player, it's that absurd, So she didn't respond. She just didn't see it. I wake up I'm going to bed on Saturday night at 2 a.m. Right. And this story pops up on The Quartering, the YouTube channel, The Quartering.
Oh, I watched that. Yeah. We sponsored
that. And he's like, female poker player accused in cheating scandal from using a vibrating device. And I clicked on it, and it was fucking Rabia. It's like our friend.
No,
it's
way.
Fucking her, dude. And it's this huge scandal, this fucking massive. It's everywhere. If you go into any of the poker things, they're talking about lie detecting. Doing a lie detector on her now. So basically, the hand. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't actually watched it on video because I don't want to know, dude. I don't want to get too analytical on it because I know them.
Wow.
She is though. She has the eyes. I was talking about with the weed. That's one thing I can always do is anybody who has the same thing I do, I'll spot them instantly. It's rare, but she for 100% sure has the eyes. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that she plays poker because she could just sit there and look and she can get a real good read on people, same way I used to. But so the hand, basically this guy who's notorious for bluffing was going heavy. He was on a low straight draw, but she had jack high, she had nothing. She literally had nothing. And she called on the turn with a jack high because he had a 7-8 straight draw. And they're she had nothing. She had nothing.
She shouldn't have called. She would have never called unless
she had nothing. She had no draw. She had a jack high. Even if he's bluffing, she should have folded, right? Even if she knows he's bluffing, she can't call with that hand. And she called anyway, and she won. And everyone was like, what the fuck? And then so the guy and the people from the staff, they pulled her into the hallway and they were like, what'd you do? You fucking cheated. How'd you cheat? And she's this tiny little thing. She apparently offered to give the money back. She's like, I don't know. How do I make this right? I don't get. So I talked to her husband, who's my boy, who's an attorney who would stomp this guy's brain into a million pieces. Literally, I was like, bro, what? So he said that what happened was she misread her hand. She thought she had bottom pair. And so she thought she was calling with the bottom pair, and she actually only had jack high. And then she was embarrassed, and so she just spazzed out and didn't communicate it well or whatever. But this is literally the biggest thing going on in poker right now is this cheating scandal with this chick that I know super well. I'm really good friends with them. And so yeah, I mean, if you look up poker cheating scandal right now, I mean, it's it is fucking everywhere. And that girl is a really good friend of ours. And her husband's a really good friend of mine.
And so they're theorizing that she
has someone watching on TV and signaling to her. Yeah.
Oh wow. Well,
and they're going through all of her hands and really meticulously looking at how she played all these other hands, and they can't really find any other ones that are that weird. But they're all look at her body language. It doesn't look like she's trying to think. It looks like she's waiting for something. It's all this shit. You're like, oh my gosh. But I talked to her. Like I said, I talked to her husband, And he's like, bro, he's like, she's not cheating. He's like, she won. She placed in the money at the World Series of Poker the last 2 years. It's not like she's like, it's not like she doesn't fucking know how to play poker, man. But she plays the man.
That's what happened. That's what I was thinking with this dude with the chess thing. It's like he wouldn't have made it to playing the top player in the world unless he was cheating the whole time. But I feel like he had to be good enough to get up to that level. And even if you're cheating all the way up to that top level, you're going to get really good at it. And but maybe he did cheat. It remains unknown because nobody inspected his asshole, I'm assuming.
Yeah. But yeah, if they would have asked to do a cavity search on her husband would have had them killed, I think.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah, it's great.
Tell me, like oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just like about some of these latest MMA stories that you've been covering. Like, I mean, Connor's out. Do you think he seems like he's on steroids?
I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure if he's on steroids. I would say that if, and just for anybody who doesn't kind of know the full story, what just came out a couple weeks ago is that Connor is the only person active in the USADA testing pool who has not been tested in 2022. The only one.
I thought he was in it. I thought he got pulled out or was inactive.
That was the initial report, was that he had left the USADA testing pool. And then what came out was that no, he's active. He just hasn't been tested in 2022. Now, the UFC has the ability to give fighters waivers. They could give them 6-month waivers. Now, they would never have to announce this publicly or anything.
Right.
And so what I've been getting in trouble lately coming up with fucking theories here, but but my theory, in the event that the UFC did give him a waiver, would have to do with his leg,
exactly.
Where it's like he needs to take things that are banned on the USADA list to make sure that his leg heals correctly.
That makes sense to me.
Which is fine. I mean, it's totally fine. Mm-hmm. As long as you let other people who also fold their leg in half do the same thing, I
think Anderson Silva probably did something similar when he was healing. Am I right?
Well, we don't know. I mean, because Weidman, I'm not sure if Weidman has been being tested, but I should ask these guys about that. Just wondering if anybody else gets a waiver, because that's not I'll tell you right now, there's no way that publicly that could be the policy, where it's which I think it should be. And I said that in my video. It's I think there should be a provision where if you are rehabbing a catastrophic injury, then you get an exemption, for, let's say they have some kind of UFC specialty doctor that says this is what's going to help you heal the best and the fastest. And you get an exemption for literally whatever that is, whatever they prescribe, and you get to take it for the amount of time, allotted by the doctor. You don't you can get tested for everything else, but you don't piss hot if you get, if that's in your system, because ultimately, look at the UFC and MMA is destruction derby with human bodies.
Exactly.
It's I really think that,
recuperator to heal, sometimes you might need a little bit of assistance from chemicals.
I just do jiu-jitsu every single day.
See, and
every day.
I need to get back into that. But I don't have a gym here. I'm in the mountains, and there's there's a gym like 20. Yeah, it's like 25 minutes away.
The gym I go to is if there's absolutely not 1 minute of traffic, it's like 35 minutes away.
Oh, wow.
And then with traffic, it's an hour. And on Monday I went out there for the 9 a.m. class, came home, worked, went out for the 5:30 and 6:30 class. I went out, so I was 4 hours in the car just for jiu-jitsu on Monday. It goes by pretty easy, man. It's I'm just used to it now. I just do it every day because that's where because I train at Victor Hugo's. Victor Hugo's you know who he is?
I've definitely heard his name.
He is the #1 in-gi jiu-jitsu fighter in the world.
Okay, you practice in gi then?
We do gi and no gi, but yeah,
gi.
and he's the only, like, he fought Gordon Ryan at ADCC, and he's the only one that Gordon Ryan didn't submit. Like, Gordon Ryan submitted every other person at ADCC, all the best no-gi guys in the world. And Victor's like, he's known for gi, and he fought no gi, and Gordon Ryan couldn't submit him. And actually, dude, towards the end there, he did well, dude. Like, he escaped a position that Gordon had him in where you could see Gordon was pissed, dude. Like, he was really pissed. Because Gordon got swept. And I'm hoping that they'll set up like a no time limit match with them. That'd be incredible. I mean, Gordon's looks pretty unbeatable, but did you watch any ADCC?
No, I mean, I pretty much only watch UFC, or if we're sponsoring a fighter in another organization, I'll go to like LFA or maybe a Fury type shit. But no, I don't really watch like jiu-jitsu matches or anything. Yeah,
ADCC is like the Olympics of submission grappling, and they do it. They do it like once, or I think it's like once every 2 years. And it was just like, I think it was it was like 3 weeks ago, and then Steve, my other professor, won. He won his. He's older. He's like 37, I think, or 38, and he's the number 1 pound for pound jiu-jitsu fighter in the world in his division. He's my size. That's the whole thing. That's why I went there, was because like I'm friends with him, and I'm like, so I can learn from. Basically, how I look at it is, at all times, basically going forward, I'll be training with the dude who is the best in the world, my weight class, near my age. He's like a little bit younger than me, but we're right around the same size, and he's the best in the world. He beats the fucking shit out of me, dude.
Well, that seems like it would make it worth it to have an hour drive or half hour drive or whatever. I don't know anyone at this gym, but now I think I need to like get off my ass and go do it, because I love doing it. It's fucking, you get like a high from it,
Yeah. And just like, what you should do is you should just just be like, I am going to go, like, just force yourself to go and commit to the days that you're going to go in advance, so that it's not even like, there's no conversation. It's like, okay, I'm going, and do like, I would say do 4 days your first week, and then do 4 days the following week, and you'll be hooked for sure. Like, it's like, you just got to commit to like just go like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or something, like, just commit to the days in advance, and then where it's just non-negotiable, like it's in your calendar, like you're going, and just do those 2 weeks. And then if you get through with the 2 weeks and you're like, then do that. But most likely you'll get hooked again. It's just about just getting there.
Because I know when I was in San Antonio, I had a gym. It was like 5 minutes from my house, and I was going like every day. I was practicing sambo, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, but I was really only going for the free roll at the end of class. I love the rolling at the end of class. That's the fun part. But
yeah, I mean,
How often do you go?
I usually do. I try to get in at least 6 sessions a week minimum. So like, and then sometimes I do more. Like, it's like, cause like on Mondays and Wednesdays, just between those 2 days, that's 4. Cause I do 5:30 and 6:30. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays. So that's like, just the base level is like 2 on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Thursday. And then I'll try to do open mat on Saturdays if I'm in town. And then I'll usually do 1 morning. So I really end up doing like 8 sessions a week.
Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's like, it's like a really, this school is awesome. It's 6 Blades in Lake Travis. It's so funny. Like, cause I've announced that on the channel a million times. It's like, dude, I'm like 6 Blades Lake Travis. And I'm like, and so every once in a while, someone will pop in there like, hey, can I check out the gym? And just because they want to, like, they're like fans of the channel, and I know instantly. They walk in, I see them in 1 second. I'm like, oh, he's, and they'll like, they'll do the class, and they'll come up to me after. They're all, dude, I love your stuff. When you imitate that dude, it's like, yeah. One of the guys actually, he joined. He's a tough fucker too.
Nice.
He actually triangle choked me the other day, and it fucking infuriated me.
That's
like an arm triangle.
Yeah, it's like you're obsessed about it for at least a little while after the fact.
Dude, the next round, he got to find out what it feels like if I actually go 100%, because I was pissed. Dude. The arm triangle me, and they're like, all right, let's go again. And I was just like, I think he still thought it was like a 70% thing. And I was like, oh, no, now you just,
now it's on.
Now it's on. I don't get to do that with Steve. I just have to like, or I mean, there's lots of people that I just have to kind of take it. But you know, yeah, it's so funny. Like with Steve, anytime that like if I'm like if we're doing rounds and he's like, it's so he's so fucking good that like while he's doing his rounds, he's just watching everyone else. He's both manhandling someone and also watching everyone else. And so any time that I like I've done like a couple rounds where I just smashed a couple guys. Every time I never get 3 good rounds in a row, dude. Because like if I do 2 good rounds, he'll be like, Jess, let's roll.
Bring you back like, down to earth.
Well, and like, well, just like in a, you know, the kind of like principle of jujitsu being to be able to subdue a stronger, faster opponent. I mean, in his case, he's probably just as athletic as I am, but I'm like I'm the perfect jujitsu dummy because I'm real fast and I'm real strong. And then, but like, you know, the high level guys, it's like, you know, there's just a level of jiu-jitsu that there's no amount of speed or strength. You're not going to win. They're just going to slowly, like they'll give you things just so you just walk right into a trap that they wanted you to go to. And then they just strangle you. It's like, he's so fucking good, dude. He's so fucking good.
The last time I rolled, I was in Vegas with doing a shoot for Brandon Marino at the gym that he trains at when he's in Vegas. And I forget the dude's name. It's Victor something. And maybe it's not even Victor, but I'm so bad with names. But it was just so it was fun. And like he was the coach of the gym. So obviously he's going to murder me. But he was real like slow and he's just kind of like leaning his shoulder into my neck, but it felt oddly good. It was this weird. I was like, I need this. So I need to get back into that.
Dude, you float out of the gym afterwards. It's like you go in, even if you're sluggish, and you float out. You're just like, it feels so good.
And it's like an hour class usually.
Each class an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, you just focus on, because it's 6 blades, and that's Shanji Ribiera's school, and Shanji's out here too. Everyone is out here. That's why, to be totally straight, that's why I got so serious about jits, because I was like, I can't be in Austin, the jiu-jitsu capital of the world, and not have a respectable pedigree in jiu-jitsu. And it's like, it's one of those things where, like, I think the thing that keeps most people out of jits is like, it's such a long mountain to climb. Like most people can't see 8 years, you know, like they just 8 years to them, they can't commit like that. And like, for me, I'm like, okay, so if I commit on this, you know, committing this amount of time to it over this amount of time, where will I be? And like, I can, you know, like I can.
That shows your like level of discipline and work ethic, and probably why you're so successful in other areas of your life, including, you know, Jesse on Fire, Jesse on Everything. Are you still doing the one with your wife?
Yeah, we will. Like that. It's, dude, on all honesty, I have very high hopes for that one. It's just that like, I was maxed out on time. She's so fucking busy too that like, what we really need to do, honestly, is we need to come in here and like redo this studio in a way where it can be, boom, we come in, we film, it's done. And like right now we don't have that. I have to like redo the whole studio to be able to do it and all that. And it's just like, but that's like a barrier. We're definitely going to do that, because that show will work, like in terms of like a podcast. So, but yeah, I mean, it's the only way that you make it though is through just utter consistency, and like, and I have to do it for Jesse on Fire, you know, because like if you don't, I mean, you don't, like, I do a video, I do 2 videos almost every single day. Then now you have to do fucking shorts too.
Yes.
You know,
the shorts are, but you get way more. Well, it looks like your regular videos get way more views, but our shorts get more views than our regular videos.
So what happens with mine is they don't do anything, and then 4 months later they completely blow up.
Weird.
Yeah, it is really weird. And someone actually told me about that before I started doing them. They were like, I can't really tell. It was really weird. Like yesterday I did one and it got.
I'm looking at your channel right now. If you're wondering why I keep looking over here, I'm like looking at your channel. Just FYI.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah. If you like, but on the shorts, I did one yesterday that got 4,000 views in the first, like, I don't know, hour. Mm-hmm. And then from there, it just went like this and then just like stopped. Mm-hmm. And where it was like, okay, because what I actually think is going on is I think I have a restrictor on my YouTube right now because I got a community guidelines warning about 2 weeks ago. Like, because if you like, I was just looking at my analytics yesterday. I'm like, why isn't my, like, what the fuck happened? My channel was growing like 1,500 people a week. And then it just stopped like in its tracks. And yeah, like, I mean, I gained 4 people since last night, which is like unheard of lack of growth. In the last,
I know last time we had the you were on, it was like, I feel like it was like 40,000, and now you're almost at 80,000. So definitely, I was surprised when I saw the numbers, and I tried, I was trying to introduce you to JP, and I looked at your numbers like, this is fucking respectable though, 77,000. I mean, to me, and these numbers are really. 20,000 views here, etc. Yeah. That's a lot of people, and that's a lot of. I mean,
20,000 is, if I go, like, if my videos get under, like, I mean, you give them like a week or two, and if they end up with under 15,000 views, then I consider that like not a good video. If it didn't perform. But then some of them get way more than that. I mean, I get O'Malley, that one got 36,000. This one 27. This one 22.
Is Jake Paul really fucking joining the UFC?
24,000.
Are we still speculating?
Oh wait, hang on, just for 1 second.
You're good. Yeah, Colby hasn't been around in a while. But Jake Paul, like, and he's still fascinating to me, and I would personally like to see him join because it would be fun to watch.
The who? Like
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Oh, dude, it'd be amazing. Yeah, it'd be amazing. So what Jake Paul's doing is really smart. Like, he's saying that he's gonna do MMA. He says he's going to train with Javier Mendez, which would be a great camp for him, and he'll do it. I mean, like, he'll do it, dude. And again, I've said this on the channel a million times, and I will reiterate it now. The people who are hating on Jake Paul, are doubting the fact that he will be a dangerous fighter in the cage, are literally, they just don't know what they're like. It's one of two things. Either they have absolutely no fucking idea what they're looking at, or they're such haters that it's like clouding their vision when they objectively watch film of him moving around in boxing. Because it's like, I mean, I'm not saying like you throw him in there with like one like top UFC guys right now, not at all. No. What I'm saying is like, okay, you've seen you watch the UFC, right? Like you watch whatever. Watch
he can
someone
stop the takedown. Go ahead.
Exactly. Like that's what I'm saying. Like watch one of these guys that you think has a really strong, powerful right cross. Look at their technique and look at how fast they move in his weight class and watch his. Like, dude, he's objectively super dangerous, man. Like, he's just, he'll decapitate guys.
Woodley. Yeah.
He slept him.
He like, totally fucking boop.
Yeah.
Like face first.
Yeah.
That was such a good knockout.
It was great. And Tyron Woodley was the UFC champion like four years ago, when Jake Paul had never boxed. Like, he had no combat sports experience. None. Yeah. If someone would have been like, hey, dude, in 2022, this guy is going to fight that guy in a sanctioned bout of any kind, and this guy is going to knock this guy out. Dude, I literally would be like, you guys can run a train on my wife if that happens. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's not possible. And he did it.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could knock anyone out. I guess if I like ran and hit and like, I don't even know because maybe
just gotta hit him right in the right spot.
I've been hit. I've never been knocked out. I've been in a lot of fights, and I just like with a surprise right hook out of nowhere. And I remember getting like, you get the connection, and then I heard like fluid in my brain. It was like. and then I didn't go down, but I kind of went to the side, obviously, because he just hit me out of nowhere, and I was like, "Oh, you're fucking dead." But I mean, to sleep Tyron Woodley and Ben Askren and I think a couple other guys is very impressive.
He has nuclear power,
and it's exciting, and he's smart to. I think he pulled out of the last fight with the guy that might have actually beat him. What do you think about the guy that he was going to fight that actually, because Tyson Fury's
Rockman.
brother.
Yeah. Well, Tommy Fury, he had some.
Tommy
kind of
pulled out. Tommy pulled out, and then he was going to fight this other dude, and then
Rockman.
Yeah,
which was, I didn't like that fight for him. Like that's,
exactly.
I didn't hate it because he's looking for a guy to make a statement against, but I think Anderson Silva is like a good stepping stone. Anderson Silva fought, but I do think Anderson Silva is going to be a tricky match for him, dude. Like just because, Anderson Silva is extremely hard to hit. Just in general.
He's just like a kind of a freak. I mean, he was the best for 10 years in the UFC and nobody could hit him, and he would play with people, and now he's 50 something and still dangerous. And this is a toss up for me. I don't know who's going to win, but I still see the potential of Jake Paul winning. It's just not going to be as easy not easy as the first two. It's going to be.
He's 47. Yeah, dude. If he starches Anderson Silva, that would be.
Ooh. Yeah, that's another notch.
Yeah,
and I hope he joins because it'll be fun for him to just. He's a character, and I personally like some personality in the sport. And I mean, the guys that don't want to talk shit because it's like against the martial arts ethics or something. I get it, but also. It's not as exciting. I mean, you're putting on a show. This is a show business, not.
Well, and there's just there's no. Like this, I don't know. My problem with just human beings in general, in a lot of cases, is they want it both ways. You're like, look, man, we want it to be about respect. We want to be able to go out there like a couple of, noble knights of the shining armor or knights of the round table and settle it like men. And we also want to make a shitload of money. And you're like, so here's the thing about that, guy. You can't have it both ways. Like if you want to be all about respect, you guys can feel free to go meet in some gym quietly and fight.
Yeah.
If you but you're not going to make a lot of money. And if you want to make a lot of money, you can't just quietly, a couple samurai warriors, certainly not without the UFC building all of your hype, in which case shut the fuck up about your pay, because how have you earned it? Like,
you sell the fight.
If you're not like, that's the whole thing. It's like, if a guy is super valuable to a specific event and they're complaining about their money, that's legit, dude. Like if Colby Covington did not get pay-per-view points on that Masvidal fight, like they said, that's fucking crazy. Like it's not and listen, that is not the UFC's fault. Let me just say that once, like in crystal clear, that is not UFC's fault. UFC is an organization. It's their job to pay the least amount of money to run their business as efficiently as possible. Like, why would you, if a guy's like, hey, dude, I don't care, I'll take $200,000 to fight the guy. You're all, whoa. I think you should take $2 million. I'm just saying, like, it's not their fucking job.
No.
And so, especially in that fight right there, the Masvidal and Colby fight, where I know for sure that they had done all the matchmaking in the welterweight division for the previous fucking 18 months, 2 years even, just trying to set up where it could be Colby versus Masvidal for the title. That's all they were doing.
Yeah.
And I knew it, okay, Colby fights, what's Masvidal doing? They're like, if Colby wins, we'll have Masvidal go, and this and that. It's like, and then, we give Masvidal 2 shots at Kamaru. If he won, for sure, they would have done Colby versus Masvidal for the belt. All of it's all set up. So now that Kamaru beat him, they're like, okay, now we're doing Colby versus Masvidal. You're like, guy, do you not, can you possibly, do you understand your leverage in this situation? Like they've been focused on this fight for 2 years. if you go into this in a bout agreement that doesn't have pay-per-view point, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Like, just tell him because the thing is, they fucked with Colby so hard before that they made him gun shy. They stripped him of the interim belt. They played hardball with it. He was doing all this work on the outside. Now, like, and they had, he was just locked into a contract and they had all the leverage. And so they were just like, fuck you. And they basically broke him down to where I think if that's true, the reason why he signed that bout agreement is he's just like, I don't want to get into another thing where they just sit me on the bench. And it's like, dude, shit's changed since then. Like you and Masvidal, that's a big fight. But the only way you get paid in the UFC, you have to fucking play it hard, dude. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
he's like top 3 stars. I mean, he could be like, as far as pay-per-view buys.
People hate him.
I know, but I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I always seem to love people that people hate for some reason. But
me too.
Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe I feel like they're hating on his success, and because he's, talking mad shit but he's fucking backing it up. And the only losses were to Kamaru. Yeah, he's fun. We almost sponsored him, and we had some communication back and forth with him, and he was like, respecting the fact that I'm a veteran and everything, because he's super.
Yep. He's awesome.
Yeah, he respects stuff like that. The people, first responders and cops and stuff, and yeah, I like that about him. And I liked Masvidal until he like sucker punched Colby. I thought that was kind of a bitch move.
Yeah, if he really did that, then that would then my opinion of him is different also.
Yeah, so we don't.
I'm still waiting to see what the outcome of that court case is. It's like if he goes on paper, like goes to court, charge a stick, goes on his record, I'll be like, okay, that shit really happened. Jesus.
Yeah.
Because it's just so, like, to your point, like, it's because first of all, I was so skeptical of their beef to begin with, just because, like we talked about, like, this is fucking show business, man. Like,
right.
Show business. Two guys are absolutely the closest friends in the world, So for me, it's always like, okay, what's more likely that these guys really had some weird falling out, and now despite that, those guys were fucking brothers. And then it's like, what's more likely that, like, these guys are pulling a work, like Colby's playing this character anyway, but these guys are pretending like they have this big beef, or
they really do
have a beef. And I was always like, come on, like,
yeah,
it's got to be a work, dude. And then, and this story, when it hit, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know what to make of that. Like, I still don't know what to make of it. The fact that the Nelk boys were involved always seemed really sus to me, but like, because they're like best friends with Dana and everybody. It's like, I don't know. It's just like the whole
Trump, Dana.
Yeah. And Dana and the governor of the Florida slapped me high five at the same time. Like, they walked right by me. I was in the front row, DeSantis and Dana together. Like, I'm like, so they need to pull some shit in Florida when we are. But at the same time, like, I mean, dude, there's like a fucking court case. There is an active court case. It's just, and like I said, if Masvidal pleads out or whatever, he ends up taking a charge, like, then, like, I'm not saying I think for sure that it's a work. I'm just saying, like, for me to believe that story is true for sure, where I have absolutely no doubts whatsoever, I need something bulletproof, like absolutely bulletproof. And Masvidal going on paper, that's bulletproof. Like, he's not taking a fucking charge on his record for this shit. And if he did do that, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know. You would think that he would have, even because as a fighter, you have more control over your emotions because you're getting it all out in the gym, but if his ego got like squashed and he wanted to redeem himself because he lost, and that's just not the way to do it. And the thing is, that fight was not as bad as I remembered it the first time. Like, when I went and watched it back, Colby out wrestled Masvidal for sure. Yeah. But Masvidal landed some good shots, dude. Masvidal looked, I think people think that he's washed. And I watched that fight back. I'm like, dude, Masvidal looked fucking good in that fight when he was on his feet. He looked good, actually. Like, fast, dangerous, super powerful kicks. It's just Colby has such a tremendous advantage on the ground over Masvidal that it's like, it's just one of those things you can't, like, one of these kids that grow up wrestling from age 5, and there's a lot of them.
and then you're one of the kids that's a standout among all of the kids that have wrestled since age 5, and then you go D1 against all of the standouts that have been wrestling since they were 5, and then you're a standout among all of those fucking guys, and you're all American, and then you go into the UFC, and these guys are like, yeah, you know, like I'm a primarily a street fighter, or not street fighter, I'm sorry, like a stand-up fighter. And they're like, yeah, you know, I've been working on my grappling. It's like, fucking good luck overcoming that advantage, dude. You know, like it's no knock. It's just like these guys who made it to the UFC with a different discipline would have probably been the same had they been in wrestling when they were 5 and gone up through the same system. They would have been the same as these guys. It's just, dude, you're talking fucking, 17 years of experience. That they don't have. You can't make that up in most cases. I think GSP did a really good job. Trying to think of who else didn't have a wrestling base and where they made wrestling into their a big strength.
But all the wrestlers like Matt Hughes, I'm thinking of Matt Hughes. I think he was maybe he was wrestling.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
it's the great neutralizer to striking. It's because once you put him on the ground, all the kicks and spinning back fists can't happen. Yeah. So that's the core. I think that should be anyone who's wants their child to grow up and be a UFC fighter. I think they need to be in wrestling. I was watching that fight this weekend with Dern versus the Chinese lady, and Dern's been she grew up doing jiu-jitsu her whole life,
her entire life.
Yeah. And she almost had her, a couple times, but I don't think jiu-jitsu is great. And it was the best for the longest time. And it's still, necessary. But I think that combined with wrestling, because there's a strength with wrestling that doesn't necessarily come with jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu is more relaxed, right?
It's more this is my thoughts on that. You're 100% right. My thoughts on it are jiu-jitsu is what you do when you're on the ground, especially if you're a wrestler and you have no jiu-jitsu and someone puts you on your back, you're fucking finished. But jiu-jitsu guys, you put them on their back and you're like, hey, go give it a shot. Hey, go ground and pound Charles Oliveira. See how that goes for you.
Hell yeah.
Just sit in his guard and then see what happens. That's why I want to say. That's why this Islam Makhachev fight is so interesting. Although Islam Makhachev is more of a, like Khabib would sit in a guy's guard and just fucking pulverize them.
See,
I would love to see Charles Oliveira against Khabib for that.
Ooh,
anyway,
yeah.
For that.
Essentially, you are going to see. In my mind, you're going to see
similar.
Yeah, very similar. Makhachev, they're very similar. Is he still undefeated? Or has he lost once?
He lost once. He got knocked out once, but long time ago. Yeah. But he's the thing that they do, they both dominate positions the same way, but Khabib would get into a dominant position and just fucking unleash hell, just beat them into a bloody pulp. And Islam will dominate their position, keep advancing, and then submit them more.
Yeah. Okay.
You never really see, I at least can't think of a fight where I saw Islam just batter a guy, get him in a position where he basically can't defend himself, just punch him 1,000 times like Khabib loved doing. Yeah. He's more of a now you're either going to tap him and break your fucking elbow off.
Yeah. What he did to Conor was kind of impressive, obviously.
Yeah.
But because he was really mad though. He hated him. That was crazy.
Yep. Conor's the best marketer in the world, dude. He really is he's an incredible marketer.
Yeah. I don't know if he should teach classes, or I don't know if you can teach that,
I don't think you could teach what he does. And the other thing too is if there was, the UFC provided him the platform to become a star, I have no fucking doubt, and this is not to suck my own dick, but if I ended up in a situation where it was here's Jesse on Fire to 2 million people, and I had the opportunity, the outcome would be the same.
Yeah.
But it's where is that? But Like Conor happened to be a world-class fighter and he knew exactly what he was going to do with it. That guy, I have no idea. Like this is a very unique situation because then once you get that, it's like once you get that big, I've always said this. It's like if you get a big platform and you can't figure out a way to make money with it, what are you doing? Like it's like, I mean, you can do anything with that. If you get that big, you can launch any brand you want, dude. You know what I mean? What do you even like? Conor's got Conor Fast. He's got his clothing line. He's got this thing with Reebok. He's got obviously Proper 12. Right. He's like, he markets himself. He's doing movies. It's like, you know, if you get a big platform, what are you doing with it? The Kardashians are great examples of that too. It's like they just print money. Just print money, dude.
Tomorrow night, new episode on Hulu.
Oh, you watch it? I don't watch it.
Yeah, well, my wife watches it, and I'm you know, people hate, but I'm inspired, you know, by their story and their work ethic. Those motherfuckers bust their ass. And I know we're out, like we're out of time. Essentially, I had one more question since we were talking about promoting yourself and stuff. And a lot of YouTubers are fighting other YouTubers or whatever. Do you ever think about like calling someone out and challenging them to a fight or something?
I don't know. I mean, there's like, I don't really see a whole lot of upside to it. It's like,
yeah, if you lose,
if I win, it's like, cool. You know, like
you have to beat someone of notoriety, I guess, you know? Exactly.
It's like, if I beat some YouTuber, it's like, okay, cool. Like there's no positive impact for my brand really. It's like, you know, because what did I show? That shows I can beat up like a kind of regular person. It's like, yeah, you can't look at me and know I could probably beat the shit out of a lot of regular folks. You know, it's like there's no positive, and I'm not gonna go fight anyone of notoriety because I'll probably lose almost for sure. And you know,
well, I meant like Tom Cruise or something, or some actor. Or
yeah, if someone who's a much bigger star than me wants to fight me, yeah, I'll fight them for sure.
There you go. Yeah. Well, hopefully one day you and I can roll for fun because I really enjoy it, and it would just be a good time, and we'll get together. And
where do you live again?
I live in Colorado, but I'm always my whole team is in San Antonio. So
nice, dude. Yeah, if you come out, you can come to the gym and train anytime you want.
Awesome. Well, next time I'm in Texas, which is usually in San Antonio, I'll hit you up and see if we can get together.
Let's do it, dude. We love going to San Antonio for the weekend anyway, so maybe we could even just go there. We would go there.
Beautiful. Well, I appreciate you coming on again. We'll do it again. I'm really, I kind of consider you a friend now, so I appreciate you. And you keep doing what you're doing. You're killing it. Your channel's growing. Jesse on fire. Jesse on everything. Subscribe to his channel. And thank you for all of you that are coming from his channel to watch this. I appreciate you guys' subscriptions. I think again we've got like a lot of subscriptions from you just coming on the show, so I appreciate it.
Well, dude, and like you guys sponsor. I was just saying this in one of my videos the other day. Like, SHEATH sponsors all the coolest fucking channels, or at least at the very least, you and I have the exact same taste in YouTube. Oh, that's right, you fucking sponsor the quartering. Yeah. When I was like, oh, I saw it on the quartering, I forgot about that. I was just thinking about that right now. But yeah, you guys like all the channels you sponsor are all the ones that I watch. So
and we would sponsor more if we could, but sometimes they're just like, what's that dude fucking from Britain? The dude from Great Britain, he's an actor. But anyways, he doesn't have any, like a lot of guys, they just don't take sponsors.
Yeah. Oh, Russell Brand.
Thank you. I didn't want to end without saying, Russell Brand.
Yeah, he's gonna get kicked off YouTube anyway, which is I mean, he's like, they gave him a lifetime warning.
Are you serious?
Dude,
I know I heard about the strike and they pulled that one video off and stuff.
All he said was look at this. The CDC is saying that Patton is in fact a recommended treatment for. And what it actually was they were doing a study to see if it could be a recommended. And then literally inside of 24 hours, someone had reached out there all like, that's not correct. Like it's actually, and he did a video correcting it. So talking 24 hours, and then he corrected it, went public, and they gave him a lifetime strike where if he does it again, they delete his channel. He's got like fucking 6 million subscribers or something like that. It's criminal. And so he just launched his he launched on Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucked up that you have to like watch what you say, but I've taken, and when my wife had, I didn't get it. I ended up getting it later, like after partying for 4 days and forgetting, like I didn't sleep and blah blah blah, and I hadn't taken it in quite a few months because I thought it was over, and then I ended up fucking finally getting it like a couple weeks ago, which is I'm a little bit still, I feel like, spacey, so I apologize for anyone out there, but I appreciate you guys coming on here and watching.
It's interesting that you say that too, because like I was taking it prophylactically.
Yes.
And I got twice. The first time I had been taking prophylactically, and then I started taking it as soon as I tested positive, and it was like super easy.
Nice.
And then the second time I got it, which was very recently, I hadn't taken it in forever. Same. And I got fucking nuked. I got super sick, like super sick. I don't know. I have no idea if it's, I don't know if it's connected or if it's just a different strain, but that was my experience.
I think that it works, but I guess you're not allowed to say that. So
I mean, there's just no way for me to know based on my own experience, but I've seen some compelling studies that certainly support that it does.
Yeah. So think, come up with your own conclusions. Don't believe what they tell you though, because they're fucking lying pieces of shit. You know who I'm talking about.
Yep.
But we'll tell you like it is, or at least the way we think it is. Be honest and not just deceive you on purpose or whatever.
Just backtrack to who benefits all the time. That's all I do all the time. That's how I land on theories that are probably wrong sometimes, because I'm like, well, okay, so this worked out for who? Is there a way I can kind of backtrack it into this being coordinated, or do they just get lucky? And it's hard for me to usually get to lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll do this again soon.
Yeah, let's do it,
for coming out and coming on, and have a great rest of your day. And thanks everyone.
For sure. Later, man.
See you next time. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. That was Jesse on fire. He's fucking great. He's so positive, and the fact that he's willing to come on here whenever, and he really is. He's been on here 3 times now, and he's willing to come back on, and he's just such a like a positive dude, and he's like easygoing and whatever. Go check out his channel though. He's fucking really good. He's always got like these sweet topics that are trending, like in MMA. So check him out, and I'll see you next week. I gotta get out of here.